Testing, testing. That's working. All right. I'm getting feedback. For those who are listening into the room, Thomas says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Thomas. Thanks for being here. Robin says, hey, Jeremy. Let me make sure everyone can see that. They can. Fantastic. Bill says, good afternoon. Thank you, Bill. And Lennon says hello. And everyone out there, you all can hear me okay? Beautiful. And you can see the screen okay? Beautiful. That's what's up. Robin says we love the pictures from Nashville retreat. I can't wait to have you next year, Robin. Jill says hello. And Steven says, hey, party people in Nashville. We are partying. Blake looks like he's at the end of a long party. All right. So pretty much what we're going to do is what we do every day. Today is Tech Giant Tuesday, and I got a list. You won't be able to see the list on this computer because it's on this computer, and that's okay. I got the list, but I will go through it, and then I'll also add to it, and we're going to look at some stocks as far as swing trades that we're in. We're also going to look at a new swing trade, and we're going to kind of discuss that and just make magic and make memories. So for those who are here live and for those who are listening in, let's pull up SPY. SPY is a cute little candle, and what's very interesting about this candle is you have a high wave candle. Oh, today's Tuesday. I'm also going to do the weekly options newsletter. Nice reminder, Newsom. You have a high wave candle today on the 100 simple moving average for SPY. So realistically, my thought process is intraday. If we trade back down to this level, it's probably going to be a buying spot. If we trade up to this level, it's probably going to be a shorting spot. And then if we close nicely towards the end of the day, past these levels, or past AKA the high of today and the low of today, that'll likely cause a little bit of a continuation in that direction. So the SPY, we'll be watching for just to kind of see what it ends up doing and what it generally procures over the next few days. But if I pop in here to a 15-minute chart, here's the 15-minute chart. You did get that 3:45 p.m. ramp. Here's the 5-minute chart. So the last 10 or 15 minutes, you did have a little bit of a bullish move, got some pop, and we did, for those who are watching this video live or recorded, we did play some future trades, getting in bullish here in the live retreat, and we got out here, which was a nice trade. Could have been better, but again, that was on the E-minis, which, since we're speaking of, let's just go ahead and check those out really quick. Here they are, E-minis. This is the 5-minute chart. Here's the 15-minute chart, and again, we're pretty ridiculously sideways. So what I'm looking at doing, or what I'm anticipating to some degree, is a little bit of a channel. Like I said, this is, wow, this is a nice channel actually. If I zoom out a little bit more, a very important key level on the E-minis for the next 2 or 3 days, I think, will be 2888.50, and then 2914. We are right in the middle, which makes sense. It's a high wave candle today. So if tonight, which is most unlikely, but maybe around 3 a.m., if it trades back down to here and Arabia's up, she'll probably be trading a little bit of a bounce off of that support. If it trades up to this resistance, again, maybe a fade off of that resistance level. So pretty much what I said about the SPY. Those are the levels on the E-minis, and we'll keep an eye on those, and we will watch those pretty closely. All right. This is good. That's the E-minis. That's the S&P. Here's the Qs, which is the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ. You got a high wave candle with a little bit of an upper shadow and lower shadow, a little bit of a high wave body candle. Long-term moving averages, again, we are right on top of those. So I would actually preferably really like this to trade sideways and drop. What's interesting, for those who are in the audience, raise your hand if you remember me saying this gap is going to fill. Ah, we got some hand raising going on. And for those who are listening in the recording, type in a 1 if you remember that as well. I was very adamant last week that this gap was going to fill, and it did. Pretty much almost to the exact penny. The high of the gap that occurred was 289.07. The low of today, 289.27. So we have a 20-cent still unfilled gap, which most likely will get filled tomorrow. If it doesn't, cool. Right, if it breaks higher and closes above this, beautiful stuff. All right, here's the Dow Jones ETF. Oh, let me try that again. DIA. Dow Jones ETF, doing its thing, trading sideways. Let me close out this position really quick. All right, that's good. So the Dow Jones, this gap did fill to its entirety today, and you have a little bit of a hammer-ish candle. So we have a gap down. This is a brand new week. That's important to remember because a brand new week means new weekly candles. So we're starting with a gap down this week. So I don't know if I can stress enough the importance and the strength of the bull move that will happen if we take out the high of today's candle, especially if it happens tomorrow. So if we do close above this little small bearish candle tomorrow or the next few days, this bad boy is going to have a decent little run. So we had the gap up faded, the gap up has filled the gap, and now all things are equal. So now we have a gap down that needs to get filled. So let's find out if that happens or not. And if it doesn't, right, same exact thing on the reverse side. Flip side, if it closes below the low of today's candle, then yes, most specifically, we're going to come back down to this 200 again and have some little rotation. So it's going to get fun. Let's suit up. The stocks we're going to look at today, MRNA is the first one on the list, followed by Fiverr, LK, T-Mobile, FSLY, Netflix, Tesla, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Pinterest, and Marvel, and then Square. Add Square to the list. Okay. So here's MRNA. And MRNA. So I had some traders request this one. Let's check it out and look at it together. No clue what this company does. Oh, pharmaceuticals. All right. So that means I won't be trading it. A little too volatile for me. So here's a support line. This support line I'm drawing pretty much based off of that support, this candle, and then the rest just happen to fall in place. And by fall in place, I mean this gap right here. I'll zoom in just a little bit so we can all kind of see it. All right, zooming in. So this little retest gap, this kind of, I can almost draw a double bottom right there. So there's the little double bottom. So that gap is just kind of support that I'm drawing. And I'm looking to have some sort of pullback into that. So if you're looking at playing this pharmaceutical company, if it were me and I would take this trade, I would look to buy around 13.53. I don't have any dog in this cat fight, so if it pulls down to this level, buy the dip. Otherwise, leave it alone. A lot of you probably have heard the story of my good buddy Michael Clark, aka Freebird, in North Carolina, and his trading strategy is very simple. He buys 2,000 shares of a pharmaceutical company if it gets $5 or lower. That's it. That's all he does. And it works. Just not all the time. So some stocks go to 1 or 2 or 3 or 0, and some pharmaceutical companies don't. They go much higher. And he used to sell a lot of pharmaceuticals back at some point in his time, so it pays off pretty well. Robert says, are you guys playing the drinking game in Nashville when Jeremy says killer? That's a good question. Is anyone boozing it up right now? Or, I mean, they're allowed. Is that Robert Falco, by the way? I think it is. Only Falco would ask a question about booze. The sergeant says he's drinking, and Robert says it is. It is Falco. Okay. Well, I will say Falco, not yet. But tomorrow, you guys should get the game. Ashley's the one that started it. When we first started dating, she created this game to help her stay awake, which was when I taught classes late at night, which was like 11 p.m. Central. She would play a game where it was like anytime I said her name or I drew a line on the screen, like a freehand line, or if I said the word killer, she would take a drink. And she found out very quickly that she should not do that because I do all those things frequently. Oh, anytime I said Apple was another one. Oh, that's rough. That's a bad morning in the next day in school. I didn't talk too much about Tesla back in the day. Yeah. So that's pretty much mRNA. And Falco, you are missed at the retreat. Everyone's asked about you. Everyone's sad. We've had 2 or 3 people who've already broken down in tears and left since you weren't here. They just left the retreat. They're like, well, if Falco's not here, then I'm not going to be here. So maybe next year you can be here and grace everyone with your presence. That'd be great. All right. mRNA is done. Next on the list is Fiverr. So Fiverr is about to get an updated trade. I will put it in the worksheet and then I will throw it into here. Look at Graham getting 1.4 Rs over there. Ladies and gentlemen, get a round up for Graham just really quick. What? Nice, buddy. This is going to come from Brad, but there you go. Typing like me, but coming from Brad. So that's going to really throw some people off. That's really good, Graham. Great job, buddy. So Fiverr, what we originally did on an hourly chart is I was looking to get in bullish. So you guys remember this? We did some back trading here for those who are in the flesh. I talked about stop limits with a stop and then a lower limit. We did a back trade on that today and we got skipped. So I'm gonna learn that lesson. And later this afternoon, I'm gonna go in and adjust. I'm just gonna do now a stop at 23.59 and a limit at 23.59. And we're also gonna discuss why. Limit, same price. Okay. Limit, same price. Here's the daily chart. So again, this has not filled yet. You have a really nice hammer-ish candle, shaved top. You got an upper shadow here, 23.50, 23.47. Shouldn't go higher, right? So if it does, maybe it bounces. So 23.59, and then I'm going to increase the stop by 2 pennies. I've just been doing this recently. This is not something you always have to do. I've just been doing it for fun, more or less, just to keep the last 2 numbers the same so that it's a little bit easier on the math brain. And I'm going to go adjust that trade. So new trade on Fiverr. I'm going to go throw it into the Slack channel. Oh, nice. Falco says, sorry, Nashville. Hawaii won for me this year. Yeah, it's not that bad. That's not that bad. Okay. Updated swing trade on FVRR. We are not in yet. This is Jeremy from Brad's computer. Don't ask. Okay, and then I'm gonna come into the swing trade journal, which there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Swing trade again, we are in Slumberger, aka Slumberger, and my boy Alan's in Halliburton. So we will do Fiverr. So there it is. We're just going to update to 23.59 even. Boom, boom. Oh, number locks is off. All right. 23.59. Is that correct? Okay, by 20.79. 23.59, 20.79, 71 shares if you had a $200 risk unit, bullish, and I'm gonna go update that chart in Slack. Sorry, in the Excel spreadsheet. Okay. Oh. I'm not used to being able not to slide my mouse over. Oh boy. All right. So here we go. That's gonna be a new updated swing trade on Fiverr. I do like this one. I mean, if it pops, looks good. Will it? I don't know. Right now the trend is kind of bearish, and yeah, I am bottom fishing a little bit. So Lee, this kind of goes into what you and I were talking about, kind of waiting for that candle, having a good candle. So if it keeps going down like this, as it goes lower, I'm going to keep lowering my entry at some point, expecting this. So if it keeps going, let's say it goes down to 15, I'm not going to say, all right, now it's at 15, I want to get in all the way up at 23.59. Right, I'm gonna lower that entry down as it goes lower to hopefully get it right, buy low, sell high, that type of process. So Fiverr, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are signing in, that is an updated swing trade. Next on the list is LK. Whew. This trade was convicted for what it did and thrown in prison. LK was a really nice breakout. This was a swing trade that was a high risk, high reward swing trade, no question. Came down, came up, came down. You had 2 really tiny candles right here. So our setup was entry there, stop there. That was the trade on that. Pretty much just expecting this gap to retest a little bit more or fade. And it would retest because Robin, can anyone tell me, Robin Steckel, why would that gap retest? Let's see what Robin says. I'm putting you in the spot in front of so many people, Robin, but you're used to it because you're a pro. And she might not be here as well. I don't know. Let me see if Robin is still here. She is. Robin says, LOL, it trapped people. It did. Yep, so you had people trapped and you had a bunch of, some bearish candles up here. So those bearish candles, right, people were profitable. So at some point they want to lock in profit. So it caused that little retest. And then LK could be back on the roll down, actually. Let me turn on these moving averages. Robin says it trapped people and cleared previous pivots. Yes, ma'am. It did indeed. I'm going to work on a class called candle blending. But if you blend this candle pattern, that's a pretty nice evening star reversal pattern. The two candles right here would be a nice high wave doji. So bullish candle, high wave doji, bearish candle. I mean, if it takes out the low of this candle, I wouldn't be specifically and abnormally bullish. So I would say in that regard, it would probably be a little on the bearish side. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jot this down for a day trade tomorrow. I'm just going to watch it just to see what it does. Now, we'll look at it based on a plan that we built. We're going to be realistically reviewing a very specific set of trades tomorrow that, based on how they did today, we should have a decent day tomorrow, actually, on those. Wednesday morning. I'm looking forward for everyone to enjoying a Wednesday spelled with an I tomorrow. So Angela, I'm just going to do whatever you tell me to do. All right. So Wednesday with an I tomorrow, folks. That's going to be the goal. And we'll look at LK. We'll see what it does. I'll put it on the list. But we're going to follow a very specific plan tomorrow and Thursday as a group and a unit. It's going to be sweet. Okay. LK is done. A little bit more bearish. New black crow candle today. Lower shadow, potential evening star, bearish gap down, double top, retested. It could have a nice little move tomorrow. We'll see. All right. T-Mobile, ticker symbol TMUS. The original time I was checking out T-Mobile was just in case it broke out of this resistance, which still doesn't look awful. So pretty simple. It just is trading sideways, and it looks relatively nice. We are already in Verizon call options officially. So I don't think we need to really double down on telecommunications, but I guess we theoretically could, but I'm not going to. So if T-Mobile breaks above 78.67, we could say, hey, maybe T-Mobile and Verizon goes higher. It's a really nice base. It's a good accumulation pattern. Here's the weekly chart. And the weekly chart on T-Mobile has been moving. Raise your hand if you guys have T-Mobile. Any T-Mobile people in the house? We got 3. Type in a 1 in the chat pane if you use T-Mobile. So it looks like probably about 20% of the people here, 10% of the people here use T-Mobile. Does anyone out there in the chat pane land use T-Mobile? It's a Sergeant. BMAT uses T-Mobile. All right. Well, if you do, you could look over your annual bill, figure out how much you spend, probably, what, $200 times 12, something like that, and take that amount of money, and if it pulls back down into here, buy that amount of money worth of shares, and if it bounces, that'd be a nice little discount on that bill. Other than that, T-Mobile, let it keep trading sideways, let it do its thing. If it breaks out, cool, and if it doesn't, no big deal. All right, this one, I think, is one that Blake Anderson likes a lot. I don't know, FSLY, Fastly. Is that one that Blake Anderson likes a lot? Yeah? It left the station without him, so he's sitting around holding the yellow umbrella and his pants are wet. Fastly, that's a How I Met Your Mother's reference for those of you who like the show. So FSLY, good bullish move, good break above this resistance. You have wow, this is a very, very nice inside candle today. So you had an inside candle Friday, and you had another inside candle today. So you have a 3-day pennant pattern with lower volume, which means if this thing gapped out or broke out tomorrow, it could have a decent move. We were watching this for a swing trade. I think Blake is probably correct as normal. I think it might have left the station without us. I'll keep it on a watch list. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow just for giggles and chagrins. Is that a word? Chagrins? FSLY. Okay, FSLY on the list for tomorrow just to peruse to see if it gaps. And then let's throw it on the list for Friday's afternoon swing trading room as well. So Friday, boom, I'm gonna put FSLY on that list and we're gonna straight up crush some analysis. Trend looks good though. This one could be a nice little pop, drop, and lock it. All right, next on the list is Netflix. And we have a lot to talk about on Netflix today. So I tried going 100% against this exact thing that was written on my chart right here on Netflix today. And it actually would have paid off very nicely if it would have filled, but it did not. So Netflix, I guess this is correct. Only look for bearish day trades or swing trades on Netflix until the January 3rd gap is filled, which is this purple line that says target, or it has a perfect gap up. So tomorrow, a perfect gap up would be like 295. Right? If it gapped above the high of that candle, I would just be all kinds of excited. Other than that, I'll show everyone 2 or 3 different trades that could have played out today on Netflix. We built a trading plan yesterday that follows a random moving average, the 105 EMA. And so the strategy is, if we're below it on the 30-minute, we're going to go bearish. And if we're above it on the 30-minute, we're going to go bullish. Well, we're bearish. It's below the average. Don't know how I missed that one. Average is here. Stock was here. It was below it. Don't know how. Right, Angela? I mean, it's like, what's going on over here? So here's the 5-minute chart. And the 5-minute chart, I mean, gorgeousness. Gap down, trade up into that random moving average that Angela picked out of a hat. And then it crashes. And that's the one that Miss Felicia Jones played for an entire R. So she made an R out of that, getting out of the position right here. So she went short, bought to cover down that support, and made an R. Whatever R is, doesn't matter. $10 or 10,000, who cares? Good trade, very nice. And then, for some unbeknownst reason, this double bottom comes in, has a little bit of a breakout, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy it off of the 5 EMA, which it attempted to do, right? But if I go back to the 30-minute chart, just to remind myself what it looks like to be below something, moving average is here. Stock was here. That's $2 below the average. So that was really dumb. Back to the 5-minute chart. Now, I will say, all things considered, all else equal, I actually love the secondary trade that I did. I mean, I'm a big, big fan. So again, this is a 5-minute chart on Netflix. You'll notice it took out this candle right here. And I, again, insert a million excuses, but my goal was to help you all get into this trade since it was breaking down. By myself, I would have just shorted below that candle with a stop up there. It wouldn't have been a question. Because it did close below this candle, close below this candle, and it was taking out this candle. And the trend was what again? Can anyone remind me? What was the trend? Oh, bearish. That's right, because it was below the average. Felicia says, because I'm awesome. Yes. Yes, you are. You are indeed. So Netflix was a gorgeous move, and I did do this bearish setup on Netflix. So if we're just going to practice, the bearish setup was entry at 29179, which was just right under the lows of those candles. So does this average, does this pattern make sense, Brad? Just close and below the low of that, shorting the pullback. Stop was $1 away, 29279. That's 500 shares. High of this candle, 29169. What's up? That's a dime. That would have been a monster. That actually would have been a 2-hour trade. I would have gotten out of all or most of it right there, which would have been 1.3, 1.4. But still, the strategy works. On Netflix, at least. That's good to know. Would have worked twice today because Felicia's awesome. So anyway, other than that, on the daily chart, let's go to the weekly really quick. Weekly chart. Netflix has had high wave candle, inside candle, high wave candle, inside candle. Some pressure is building on Netflix. This could have a really strong drop or a really strong pop very, very soon. I'm voting for fake out where it does one of these guys, boom, and then bam. That's what I'm going to vote for. Probably won't happen, but I'm not going to trade it bullish until it gets above the 30 EMA for the rest of September. And if I do, I'll fly out to LA and hang out with Thomas, and it'll be an excellent time. So that's what's going to happen for September. I'm going to follow that plan on Netflix, 30 EMA. You guys heard it here first. If I go bullish on Netflix for the rest of September, when it's below the average. That was the plan that we wrote together yesterday. I mean, I actually wrote it. So it's fun to know how dumb you are sometimes when you just really let it sink in, you know? when you really just analyze the dumbness that's within oneself. All right, so anyway, Netflix does look a little bit weak. Ultimate target, 27644. And again, if it does break down into that support, this could be a nice gap awaiting. I'm just ready. A good gap down. Oh, if it gapped down to 286 tomorrow. Oh, man. All right. Next on the list is a stock that I've mentioned before, Tesla, TSLA. This hedging option is going to be pretty much worthless. And I got Thinkorswim pulled up over here. Let me check to see if there's any premium for a bear call spread on Tesla. Bear call spread, selling some calls and buying some calls for September. Nope, I'm going to go out to October. October week 1. And I'm going to look above here somewhere. You know, above the moving average. That makes sense. 250 bear call spread pays $4.20 for the 250 call for October week 1. And the 255 pays $3.20. That's $1 on a $5 margin. It's 20% return. It's not too bad. I'm going to plan that one for 18 hours because at least I know that rule. 250, 255. For my option fans, bear call spread. Oh boy. Bear call spread. Dollar limit, question mark. So I'm going to relook at that tomorrow just to see if it looks good. Based on my wave count though, and usually my wave counts are deadly, if Tesla takes out the low of today's candle, I'm feeling a little bit of weakness on Tesla coming up. Now, if I go to the 30-minute chart, so here's the 30-minute. This is just a random strategy that we created. We are above the 30 EMA. So if we gap up or something bullish, awesome. We can go long. That's no problem. But if we gap down, close down, take out this level, something like this tomorrow, then we'll go short. And if you trade Tesla. So today's candle does have an interesting amount of weakness. I do kind of like this wave count. D, this is the wave count that you had me draw if she's still here. Nope. But she asked me to draw this wave count, and that's that. Other than that, here's the monthly chart on Tesla. And the random 105 EMA is at 182.20. And I do have some put sales on Tesla down here at 160 and 115 for November. So if you like selling volatility, that expiration mathematically is 73 days away. I'm voting that Tesla's not going to drop 50% in 73 days. We'll see. That's my vote. Brad wants it to happen, but I don't. All right. Next on the list is Amazon. And I'll show you the trade that Scott missed and then played and then made money on. And then I'm going to show you the trade that Tom missed. And then that's going to be it. I don't know anyone else who played Amazon today. But this is the stock chart company that is a challenge for September to make 3 Rs on. So I'm going to try to do that tomorrow and Thursday. I'm going to focus a little bit on Amazon. This was a nice move. So here's the long-term moving average on Amazon. This is the 100 and 200 moving averages. And I'm ambidextrous. I'm just going to flip this over here. So the 200 simple moving average on Amazon, you got at 17,633. We gapped down this morning. Let's pull up that handy-dandy 30-minute moving average. And I'm going to come over here and 105 EMA. So it gapped down this morning. So one would have been looking to go bearish. And then it broke above that above that moving average and then kind of retested it. So we're going to look at that price. That price is 1780.02 is when it broke above. So if we pop into a 5-minute chart, I'm going to do a 5-minute and 3-minute, but a 5-minute time frame, this is how your boy over there, Scott McKay, played Amazon. Bull volume, bull volume, bull volume, bull volume, bull volume, pullback. Entry here, Scott. Okay, gotcha. So you just bought the dip. So entry here on the pullback, stop loss down there somewhere, and he exited a partial here and then got trailed out here. And so he won small on that Amazon option, which is a great trade. The trade that both myself, Tom, and Scott missed was a 3-minute chart. 3-minute chart, which I love 3 minutes. Look at this beauty. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Look at that really, really pretty upper shadow, lower shadow, high wave candle. Good close above the 105 EMA. The randomly picked, totally arbitrary number. And then it retests this really random, totally strange, just odd moving average that no one's ever used before until this week. Entry would have been there. Stop loss would have been there. And if you were in an option trade, you most likely would have gotten skipped over. That's what Thomas is saying. He said it skipped in like crazy. But Thomas, what you got to be happy about is that you saw that opportunity and you set that trade up and you just got skipped. That's okay. I hope you gave yourself a little bit of a hug today, man, because that's a sick trade. That's a Brad Reed trade right there. You get like 2.5 hours in 7 minutes. You're like, yeah, I'm Brad Reed. This is just what I do. That would have, I mean, if it would have been 9R, it would have been a Blake Anderson trade. But since it got skipped, it was a Jeremy trade. And Thomas, you played it well, man. You did your best. Well done, dude. So anyway, good little breakup. It trades sideways for the rest of the day. And if we go back down to a swing trade level, if we're all wondering what Amazon's going to do, I think it's going to chop it in here for a bit, folks. And at no point this week should Amazon close below this candle. So I'm going to throw that in there. At no point should Amazon close below of today's candle this week. If you're wondering why, which at least one person is, volume, today's candle volume was the most bullish volume that Amazon has had since August 13th. So the reason I'm bringing that up is, oh man, if we gap above this high, so this is what I would refer to as like the perfect trade, or sorry, the perfect gap. It might not happen, and it probably won't, most likely. But if Amazon gaps above 1807, 1806, something like that, pretty much a gapping above the high of this candle tomorrow, I'm going to make money on Amazon tomorrow. That's how that's going to work. It's just that simple. I hope. That'd be the goal. So Amazon, good candle, good volume, upper shadow, a lot of resistance, kind of an inside candle, but not exactly. Good volume. I like it at this level. Let's see what it does. Next on the list is Facebook. Woo, that looks dirty on Facebook. Man, that's a nice close below that lower shadow. And again, folks, I know there's a lot that doesn't look stupendously sensational from a directional standpoint where you're like, yeah, I'd get into this bearish or bullish. I agree. It doesn't not look amazing. This gap is working on closing on Facebook, and we almost filled it today. High of this candle, 18195. Low of today, 18211. So we missed the filling of the gap by 19 cents, something like that. 18 cents, 16 cents. So if we were to gap down tomorrow below the low of today on Facebook, I know Santosh, you're probably listening over there in Houston, and you trade Facebook every day. So if it chops around like this, you know, on a 5-minute chart and breaks down, that could be a nice little bear move tomorrow on Facebook. So it could be one to watch because there's really nothing stopping it. I mean, if it wants to go down a little bit lower, I don't see why it can't. And, oh. So let's go look at the 105 because Angela's like, let's see if it's below that. So it is. On the daily, it's below it. And on the 30 minutes, it's below it as well. So if it gapped down tomorrow, then yeah, that would be one that I would play. I would play bearish. Yes, yes, yes. Wait, this is below, right? So yep, okay. Numerically, we're below it. All right, everyone, if you got a drink, it's about to be empty. Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, very interested in this gap today. This is an interesting gap on Apple. This gap is going to determine how the rest of the week goes for the market on Apple. I mean, this is a hellaciously strong gap down. We gap down below the low of 2 days on Apple. Robert says, is that an island reversal? Kind of. Kind of. It's like, that's like saying, is RC Cola good? It's like, you know, it's, should you put pineapples on pizza? You know, I think so, but some people disagree. You should never put, what's that? What was that, Murdad? They're going to release the new iPhone next week? Beautiful. So probably potential buy the rumor, sell the news. Apple is a very buy the rumor, sell the news, meaning we're about to release a new product. And everyone's like, woo-wee. And then they buy it up until then, and they're like, oh, it's the same one as the last 15. And then they sell it. You know, it's still going to be better than any other phone that you can buy with money, but that's what Apple's done forever. So this gap is going to be very, very strong. If we take out the low of today's candle, Apple will go a tad lower. Most unequivocally, it's going to hit the 100 again. If we take out the high of today's candle, especially if it happens tomorrow, leading up into that iPhone release, I could easily suspect a bullish move. For anyone who wants some shares of Apple and you want to get paid to be patient, you could look to sell a 185 October put sale on the Apple. And that's going to pay you a little bit of money, especially with the iPhone release. Again, if you don't mind owning shares of Apple at 185, which would be hashtag no brainer, Apple 185 put sale right now pays $2.40. There's still premium down there. That's $20 lower than Apple. That's 10% discount. That's not shabby. Is that the 200 on a weekly? Sorry, the daily 100 on a weekly. It may or may not have bounced there before. I mean, if you bought Apple at 176 and it went up to 215, that's more than $1 profit. It's good. I like that. All right, so we're going to keep a close eye on Apple. Those are some put sales that you could take advantage of. Let me talk about this gap just for a moment. Bunch of people that bought. And Apple moved independently of some of the other big names like Amazon, right? Amazon gapped down and immediately faded higher within 6 minutes. Apple did not do that. So Apple gapped down. Let me check this 30-minute moving average thing, apparently, that I have to do now. Oh, Angela. Did anyone play Apple Bearish today? And if you did, shame on you. But did anyone play Apple Bearish today? Oh, I didn't either. I didn't even look at it until like 18 minutes too late. Yeah, this is. I totally agree. So this is the 3-minute chart, and this is the 5-minute chart. So you have high wave. Huh, Brad likes this candle. I think he even has a video on this candle at some point. High wave, bullish candle on a 5-minute chart. Trade sideways, bearish candle, inside candle. Another high wave candle, doesn't break lower. Another high wave candle, doesn't break lower. Strong bullish candle, low volume, placing a high of the day trap, which would stipulate if you're going to go bearish, you're now going to go below this candle. So when this candle closes, right, your new entry is going to be below here, not here. So you got a high wave, so it just keeps going up. As it continues higher, you just find strong bullish candles, and if it takes out those candles, that's where you short. And this thing happened, I don't even know if he would have gotten filled. Oh, look at that, just shreddage. Man, yeah, I don't even know if you would have gotten filled on that. You probably not. As liquid as Apple is, if you had a stop limit, no. Stop market, definitely. If you had an option, stop market, who knows where you got filled. That was a very interesting drop. So, yes, let's keep an eye on Apple for the next 2 or 3 days. That's going to be a fun little mover. Okay, next on the list, we got 3 more that are written down. And I might take 1 or 2 requests. Oh, yeah, 1 more. I got 1 more. The stock pick of the retreat. This is not the stock pick of the retreat. This is just a stock that I do have some bullish positions on, and I am bullish on Pinterest longer term. I think they have a lot of growth potential. I think they're just getting started. Blake, random trivia question. What's the market cap of Pinterest? $20 million? I'll say it's not million, but yeah, 20 billion sounds right. Yep, right around 20 billion with an L is the market cap of Pinterest, and Blake knows that because he doesn't do things. Is that the saying? that's why I'm single. I know the market cap of 50 different stocks. So Pinterest, my plan on Pinterest is just to accumulate this thing for a little bit and just kind of keep buying some shares ever so often. This thing does have the absolute potential to grow. It's a social media company. I personally do not think social media is dead. There's a lot of people that are saying it is. But literally, Pinterest is a created shopping list for people. I mean, if you're a consumer, what more could you possibly want than a given to you on a platter shopping list of things that people want? So Pinterest, nice bullish gap and go, nice trend. Start accumulating enough shares to do covered calls and then start selling some covered calls around 38 once you have more than 100. That's what Ashley and myself are doing, and I'm pretty sure you got a covered call on this one. Did it fill? Oh, she bought more shares today. So order filled. So anyway, she bought some more shares today at Pinterest on a pullback. So did Donna. And again, slower growth. I'm just looking at picking up some shares ever so often. Since it's hit the 20, I don't plan on buying any more for probably the next 2 or 3 months. I may or may not have more in the share of this position. So if it keeps trading sideways, cool. The longer trade sideways, the better. The longer it does not fill this gap, the better, because that will be a very strong unfilled gap, and I'm hoping it pulls a Roku. Probably not. It's like a once in a lifetime. All right, Marvel. MRVL. Whew, Marvel Tech Group. You're getting wrecked. Here's the long-term moving averages. Ooh. Oh, that looks like a head and shoulders pattern. I don't think we have, other than PDD, we don't have a bearish position. All right, Blake thinks we're going to get, Blake thinks it's a little bit bearish too. On a pullback, Blakey, it's not going to pull back all the way up to 2386, right? Let me pop in here to the hourly chart, and I'm going to pull up the trusty dusty 30-minute really quick. 30-minute, 105 EMA. Where are you? Save my life. Tell me what to do. Okay. Wow, look at this high wave candle on a 30-minute chart. That might be the entry. We'll kind of split the difference. 23.55. Ooh, by 24.55? That might work. So now I'm just going to go into the hourly chart. Lennon likes it. Nice. It is a retest gap. That makes sense. Stop will be above that moving average. That can make sense. Daily chart. I mean, if it doesn't work, I get to blame Blake Anderson. So I feel like this is like a win-win. It does. Oh, this is Thomas's trade. Bearish? Am I doing it right? Or am I just totally wrong? It did not yet. So Friday was a decently high wave candle, and then we closed below it today. So pretty much I'd be shorting below the low, and I could look at an option trade. This might be a weekly options newsletter candidate. We'll see. Let me just check out really quick if the options are good, and that'll help me kind of determine if I want to make this a weekly options trade newsletter or just a regular trade or just an options trade in general. Yeah, they have weekly options. They're not bad. Spread looks pretty okay. Let me put this one as a candidate for a potential weekly options newsletter trade. We have a while until earnings. I would just like some bearish positions. We have one on PDD, and you know it's not working, but I'd like one or two more with options. I think that could kind of be nice. Okay, so Marvel, potential weekly options newsletter candidate. Looking at getting in on a pullback. Square is kind of cool. So far, Mr. Squiggle's half brother. Man, almost candle by candle so far. So remember, folks, all we've done, or all I did was copy this pattern and just move it over to here. But that was a week and a half ago. So according to this, 58.77 should be the low of Square. Will that actually be the case? I do not know. I know a lot of you have some positions on Square, which you should. It's a good company. Things look nice. Earnings look nice. But again, I'm just going to forewarn everyone presently who is here. Someone once told me just because a company is good does not mean it can't go down. So if we start getting some closures, like on a daily chart, it closes below this level, I am planning on buying something that rhymes with put options on Square. Those go up when the stock goes down. And even if Square doesn't go down, it's going to feel good to have that insurance, because as I mentioned, I think Square could go into the low 40s if that happens. Worst case scenario. So let's just protect ourselves. If that happens, we sell our puts to close. We make the money on the puts. We use that money to buy more shares of Square around 42, and then eventually it'll recover, I would assume. That's really all I got on SQ. Yeah, that's it. Okay, this is the official stock pick of the retreat. KRUS. Now, I don't know how high it's going to go or what it's going to do before it does whatever it does. This is a trade that we already played with a swing trade. If you all recall, we got in here and we got out up here. So we've already played it once. Wasn't too bad. This company is a relatively smaller market cap company. Can anyone confirm? I'm pretty sure they have other areas other than just California. Or I think they have one in Texas. Is that right, Scott? So there's one in Austin. I think they have a few other restaurants, a few other locations. It's a, I mean, it's sushi. Who doesn't like sushi, right, Brad? I love sushi. I need to eat some sushi soon. But food company, smaller market cap, has some pretty wide range of volatility, and it could start cooking if it really wants to. You have a lot of bearish candles in a row, high consolidation period. High of that candle is 25.84. So this one is one that I'm gonna look to get in bullish on a breakout. And if it doesn't break out, that's fine. I can totally live with that. But if it does, then great. And if it doesn't, again, I'll just look to buy a dip. But Blake does have a position in this stock. I don't have any position right now. I plan on getting a position at some point, mostly because Blake likes it. That's usually good enough for me. If Blake likes something, I'm like, all right, man, let's do it. 22.36, that will be the setup. That's over $3. I mean, that is a hefty little stop price. So we're going to keep an eye on it, but that particular trade will be official. Okay, Brad. All right, new official swing trade on KRUS. Boom. Throw that in here. My phone beeps every time Brad talks something, and I'm like, why does my phone keep beeping? But then I realize I'm using Brad's Slack. So every time I'm posting something from Brad, my phone's like, hey, Brad's texting. Because that's how I trade. I mean, like, I'll do that all the time. If I'm trading and Blake and Brad are doing something, I normally just look at what they're doing and I'll just go blindly do it. Like Schlumberger. All right. Oh, Felicia pulling out some greatness. California, Texas, Nevada, Illinois, Georgia. Huh. All right. Mick, yes, sir. You were the only one that got filled on Fiverr. I do believe, sir, that you set up your entry as a limit buy and not a stop limit. Because I don't have any price prints above the price that we had. You are special in so many glorious ways. But I do think that that might have been the case, my good friend, is that it was a stop limit, and I think you did a limit buy because you got filled right around market open, right? And no one else did. And again, unless it's just a data error on my broker, which it could be, I think it's a order issue on your stop limit. Okay, so gap and go. We're going to do, this is open, and we're going to throw that bad boy in there on KRUS. So KRUS 25.86. Got it. Move this over here. 25.86. I caught that first. I never do that. That's so good. 22.36, 22.36. All right, cool. Got it. Posted there. Great. And what time is it? All right, great. So let's go review really quick the swing trades that we are playing. I think that's all I need. Okay, Canadian Solar, CSIQ, daily chart. I'm looking to add to this trade if it breaks above 24.02. We're only in with half an hour on Canadian Solar. So if it breaks above and keeps running, cool. Very much like the rest of the market, you got a high wave Doge today. So nothing really happening on Canadian Solar. This is the trade that Blake Anderson placed. I'm not in this trade. PAGS, P-A-G-S. Blake has a stop. I still at the 48.24. Looks good to me. So I'm just going to delete those lines for a moment. PAGS, PAGS, 48.24 stop placement, doing its thing. PAGS is hanging out. Another trade that we have, this is with put options on Okay. PDD. So it did gap down. It did get bought up by the rest of the market. We have October put, so we have a lot of time on this. So what I'm going to say is PDD needs to close below the low of today by the end of this week for it to be a nice winner. Mostly because it's a decent bullish candle today. So PDD, I'm going to put on my list for Friday. And again, a close below that. And I'll go, all right, maybe this trade continues to work a little bit. Weight Watchers, actually up on a swing trade. That's weird. Not a lot, though. I kind of do like this candle. Volume increase. The 10 looks good. The trend looks good. Weight Watchers, I'm in bullish. $2 stop. 30.25 by 28.25. Hourly chart. Here's what the hourly chart looks like. Trend is looking okay. So that's Weight Watchers. Mick, I believe you got filled on Schlumberger today, right, as well? That one definitely filled today. ZTO, I like ZTO. I'm still going to leave this open as a limit buy. It's pretty far away at this point. I mean, we're talking about $1 on a $20 stock. So I'm hoping if the market tanks or you get some kind of a weird sell-off, this will just be like a puke order and it'll get caught up and bought up. We will see. So ZTO, decent bullish trend. I like it. Order is still set up, and we're looking at buying that at 1987. Mick says a quick in and out on Schlumberger. All right. So Schlumberger, the bullish limit buy was 31.76. Stop loss 29.76. It's a $2 stop loss. And we actually got filled at open on Schlumberger, which is nice because we caught that extra few pennies on the gap down, so we're already in the money. Does anyone here who's live have a question about how that was worked? And I'll kind of explain it again, but filled here. So if you do a limit order, and this is again a pretty basic concept, but a limit order on Schlumberger, we wanted to get in at 31.76. So we said, if it hits 31.76 or better, get me in. Well, the market opened at 31.18. 31.18, if you're buying, is better than 31.76. So it filled at open because it gapped below our entry. And that was that. So this one could be a cool winner. I don't know if it breaks and runs. We will see. Shout outs to Kyle Williams for snagging half an hour on Halliburton today on a day trade. Very similar trade, but he played Halliburton rather than Schlumberger. So this was a gap down. This was a swing trade that we were looking at on Halliburton last week, and Kyle watches almost every afternoon room. Here's the 5-minute chart, and here's kind of how he played it. And Kyle, the gap did eventually fill. Hey, it just took forever. So he got in bullish. I have to show you on a 1-minute chart what this guy over there did. And again, he's there in the person, so you can just go, talk to him about this trade because it was so good. I mean, crazy, right? High wave candle and a gap down. What are you ever going to do? I don't know. Just like, I mean, who knows? So it broke above. This candle came in, and Kyle got in bullish with a break above the high of this candle with a stop down here and held through this. So it traded up. It was up about an R, pulled all the way back, came up, came down. He kept his stop in place. Around here, he moved his stop to 18.25-ish and some change, and then it bounced, traded all the way back up. Came all the way back down. He held a stop, held a stop, held a stop, and more or less it just traded sideways for eternity, and he gets out around here. It did end up filling the gap, but it took a long, long time to do it. Anyway, half an hour is better than what I did today. I'm down on the day, so I'll update everyone with that later this afternoon. But that's pretty much Halliburton. Gap down, did its thing, make its move. I'm just kind of relaying that on Schlumberger. So fiber, no fill, and then lift. We'll probably end up canceling lift, but Angela said this trade looks toasty, and it does look toasty. But at this point, we're going to cancel it because it straight up closed below our entry. Sorry, our stop. So lift did not fill. It closed below our stop loss, and the trend on lift a little on the bearish side. So be looking to short the rip, as they say on the street. Lift, ladies and gentlemen, making a new all-time low. Trend is bearish. Be more bearish than bullish. All right. So this is the part that everyone here gets to scream at me. What stocks should we look at, tomorrow for Energy Wednesday? Now, they can be energy stocks, or they can just be anything that you guys want to look at. What would those be? And if you're in the chat pane, just type those in. We got Amazon, Netflix, Tesla, SSRM. We got ticker symbol NEE, NE. What else? Anything else from out in the audience? Bazoon. BZUN. Done and done. The Chinese Shopify. IQ. Carvana. Anything else? That's it. British Petroleum. We'll check that out. I like BP. Brad, do you have any put sales? HIIQ. Southwest Airlines. We'll check out Southwest. All right. Well, team. Lita wants to look at Delta. I can definitely do that, Lita. Absolutely. Easy day. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are tuning in live, thank you so much for being here. And those people who are here live in the flesh, thank you for being here. It's an exceptional time, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and until next time, love life, live life, and trade it. I'll see you.